Ana Leobo, a native of the war town of Serbia, was born in 1983. Growing up in Belgrade, Ana pursued her passion for the French language and literature by obtaining a bachelor's degree at the University of Belgrade in 2005. She decided to immigrate to the United States, where she gained dual citizenship after settling in Virginia. Ana embarked on a new journey as a hotel housekeeper. However, her dedication, motivation, and compassion soon caught the attention of her employers, leading to a series of prestigious opportunities at high-end hotels and resorts throughout New England. One such establishment was the Wheatley Hotel in Lenox, Massachusetts. While working at the Wheatley, Ana crossed paths with Brian Walsh at the time. Ana was already in a serious relationship with someone else. However, Ana's divorce provided an opportunity for her to reconnect with Brian Walsh in 2014. Brian Walsh was a complex man with a checkered past. He was the son of a prominent neurologist who ran the neurology department to Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. Despite coming from generational wealth, he had a complex background that led to his emotional and psychological struggles. According to news reports, Brian's parents neglected him, leaving him feeling unloved and emotionally damaged. Brian's parents enrolled him in a top-notch boarding school in Rhode Island, hoping the quality education would compensate for their lack of attention. However, instead of nurturing him, they sent him away, further exacerbating his sense of abandonment. After completing his education at the boarding school, Brian enrolled at the prestigious Carnegie Mellon University. However, his studies didn't last very long, as he had to leave when he entered a mental health facility. Although Brian's parents had the means to pay for his care, they failed to decide who should take responsibility for his treatment. As a result, he was forced to leave the facility without the necessary support. Brian wore many hats in his life, and his passion for the finer things in life was evident. One news report described an incident where Brian purchased an entire stock of white truffles at a Boston restaurant, showcasing his wealth. Another person shared that even as a teen, Brian exhibited this behavior, wearing a suit and tie and sipping Pepsi in the lobby of Ritz-Carlton while interacting with high-powered brokers in 2015. Brian's life took a turn when he met Ana and got engaged. The couple eventually married and had their first child, followed by 2 more children. A few years later, Ana and Brian Walsh's life was not without its struggles. The couple faced various challenges, including legal troubles related to fraudulent art dealings. Using Ana's eBay account, Brian listed 2 Andy Warhol paintings as originals. In the description, he claimed that he was being forced to sell them due to a recent remodel. Despite Brian's false claims, someone from California paid $80 for the paintings. However, upon receiving the artwork, the buyer discovered the paintings were fraudulent and sued. Ana and Brian, the person who purchased the fraudulent paintings, accused Ana of using her position in the hospitality industry to gain their trust and allow her husband to sell the forged art in a civil suit. While Ana's precise knowledge of her husband's fraudulent art dealings remains uncertain, she wrote a letter to the judge praising Brian for his role as a stay-at-home father. Despite Ana's best efforts, it was evident that she was also preparing for the possibility of Brian facing a lengthy prison sentence. Ana had already taken steps to move herself and her son's belongings into her Washington, D.C. home, indicating she was planning to make the move permanent. Ana was a remarkable woman. She was an exceptional person, professionally and personally known for her unwavering dedication and compassion. Everyone around her felt her presence, and her impact on their lives was undeniable. One of the most remarkable aspects of Ana's character was her unwavering commitment to her work. She approached her job with utmost seriousness and never took shortcuts. Her confidence and expertise in her field were evident as she consistently delivered high-quality results. However, despite the demands of her career, Ana's 3 sons held a special place in her heart. She was a devoted mother who prioritized her family. Above all else, her tireless efforts were driven by a strong desire to provide her children with the best possible life. Ana's 3 sons were her world, and she cherished every moment she spent with them. Despite frequently being away on business trips, Ana ensured she was always within reach. Modern technology such as text messages, phone calls, and FaceTime allowed her to stay connected with her children regardless of physical location. This constant communication provided her with a sense of reassurance and allowed her to maintain a strong bond with them. While Ana tried for work, Brian remained home caring for their 3 sons. This arrangement was due to an art fraud scheme that Brian was involved in, which required him to stay at home under house arrest with Anna. Frequently away, Brian had to step up and ensure the boys were all taken care of. He made it his goal to provide a loving and nurturing home for them. Brian knew his boys were relying on him for everything, and he took that responsibility seriously. He dedicated his time to being there for them and providing them with all the care and attention they needed. In addition to providing a loving home, Brian also took on additional responsibility. He made sure the house was organized and running smoothly on New Year's Eve. 2022, Anna and Brian's close friend arrived at their home at 8:30 p.m. To celebrate the holiday, Anna greeted the friend at the door happily and in good spirits. As Brian cooked dinner in the kitchen throughout the night, the trio engaged in various activities, including taking photos and making plans for the future. The friend left at 1:30 a.m. And at that time, nothing seemed wrong at the Walsh household. Later on, New Year's Day, the friend texted Anna and Brian to thank them for the fun night. However, Anna never responded, and only Brian wrote back. Considering her usual promptness, it seemed odd that Anna would not reply, but her friend thought nothing of it. Anna had a flight booked on January 3rd from Logan International Airport to Washington, D.C., but on January 4th, her superiors at Tishman Spey and her husband Brian reported her missing. When the detectives investigating Anna's disappearance spoke to her husband Brian, he explained that on January 1st, 2022, Anna left their house early to get a flight from Logan International Airport to Washington, D.C., due to a work emergency. Brian stated that Anna took a rideshare service to the airport, but he was asleep when she left. However, the detectives could not confirm that Anna had called an Uber or Lyft or had gotten on a flight on January 1st. Additionally, her credit card and debit cards had not been used. The detectives asked their counterparts in Washington, D.C., to check Anna's residence in their city to see if she was there, but they could find no sign of her. A search began in a wooded area near her Cohasset home. Crime scene investigators equipped with Can 9 units combed through the Walsh's property and adjacent land in search of clues, in addition to the local police department, state, and regional police departments were deployed to assist. In the search and rescue efforts, over 50 officers were actively involved in the search, utilizing their expertise and resources to locate any signs of Anna. Divers were also involved in the investigation, searching the area's streams for potential leads. Unfortunately, their efforts yielded no sign of Anna. Despite extensive efforts, there was no indication as to where she may have gone. 6 days after Anna vanished, a local police detective received a ransom note demanding $127,000. The email, from Richard Walker 9984 Gmail, come at 5:18 p.m. stated, "We have the so-named Anna Walsh here. We had a deal for $127,000, but she messed up. We have her here with us, and if she doesn't pay the money, then she'll never be back. We know that the FBI and police are involved. Good luck finding us." However, the ransom note failed to provide any instructions regarding how the police were to respond or meet the requirements as the investigation into Anna's disappearance continued. The detectives working on her case uncovered several intriguing details about her husband Brian. In the early 2000s, Brian approached his parents about a real estate deal involving an old, dilapidated home in Lenox. Brian proposed that his father would pay for the renovations and he would split the profit with him when he sold the property. However, things took a turn when Brian's father invested significant money into the renovations. The renovation project ended up costing Brian's father around $500,000. On the night of the closing, when Brian was supposed to repay his father for his investment, he suddenly disappeared without contacting his family. This incident left Brian's father feeling betrayed, leading to estrangement between them. Furthermore, the detectives learned that, in 2019, following the death of Brian's father, he attempted to sell his father's home even though he was disinherited from the will. Additionally, Brian was accused of writing $30,000 in bad checks. However, the most disturbing information the detectives discovered occurred in 2014, when Anna and Brian were engaged. Anna had called the police and informed them that Brian had threatened to kill her over the phone. However, the case was dropped after Anna stopped cooperating. With the authorities, the detectives managed to speak to Anna's mother, who was overseas at the time. According to Anna's mother, Anna begged her to come to the United States the last time they spoke. Anna's mother stated that she had a feeling that Something bad was going on with Anna being missing, and coupled with Brian's threats and legal troubles, Brian emerged as the prime suspect in his wife's disappearance. The detectives discovered that in the days before Anna went missing, Brian had his mother hire a private investigator to track Anna's movements. This decision was made after Brian lost contact with her for 24 hours while she was in Washington, D.C. Brian had become suspicious, convinced that she was cheating on him. Brian spent his days closely monitoring Anna's Instagram and Facebook accounts while she was in D.C., searching for any clues that might indicate she was cheating on him. His suspicions had been growing for some time, and this investigation was only intensifying his doubts. During the investigation to Anna's disappearance, the detectives made a crucial discovery. They learned that Anna had been in a romantic relationship with a man based in Washington, D.C. When Date Ives contacted the man in question, he assured them that his relationship with Anna was open and honest. They had even spent Christmas Eve together. Based on the man's alibi, he was quickly ruled out as a suspect in Anna's disappearance. Despite this, the fact that Anna was having an affair and that Brian knew about it created a motive for him to have been involved in her disappearance. On January 9th, Brian Walsh was arrested for misleading the police during the investigation. His 3 sons, who were previously under his care, were placed in the custody of the DCFS Department of Child Family Services. After Brian's arrest for misleading the police, he pleaded not guilty. Brian misled the police by providing false information during questioning on New Year's Day. He told the detectives that he left his home at 3:00 p.m. to visit his mother but got lost because he forgot to take his cell phone. However, upon further investigation, it was discovered that Brian's story did not align with the evidence collected. Detectives received security camera footage from the Whole Foods and CVS, the stores he claimed he stopped at during his alleged journey. Upon reviewing the footage, there was no sign of Brian. Furthermore, he was unable to provide any receipts for the items he said he had purchased there. As a result, detectives were suspicious and thoroughly searched Brian's residence in Cohasset, Massachusetts. In the basement of the Walsh residence, investigators discovered a damaged, bloody knife. This discovery prompted them to take the knife for evidence, testing it at the crime lab. The crime scene investigators carried out an extensive search of Anna and Brian's home, confiscating the couple's and their children's electronic devices. Anna and Brian's sons' iPads were thoroughly examined. Among the seized devices, upon processing the iPad, investigators discovered several disturbing searches made by Brian between 5:45 a.m. and 7:47 a.m. in 2023. These searches included queries such as how long before a body starts to smell, how to stop a body from decomposing, how to bury a dead body, 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to, can you throw away body parts, what does Falahi do, can identification be made from partial remains, dismemberment, and best ways to dispose of a body, what happens when you put a body in ammonia, Haka best tool to dismember, can you be charged with murder without a body, luminol to detect blood, how long for someone to be missing to inherit, how to clean blood from wooden floor, is it better to throw away crime scene clothes or wash them. On January 2, 2022, the investigators reviewed CCTV footage that caught Brian Walsh visiting Home Goods and purchasing 3 rugs. Further investigation revealed disturbing Google searches made by Brian Walsh on January 2nd, including searches such as can you identify a body with broken teeth? Additionally, on that same day, January 2nd, investigators came across Brian Walsh's footage on Home Depot surveillance cameras. He was seen pushing a cart filled with various cleaning items, including mops, brushes, tape, baking soda goggles, face masks, tarp, drop cloths, rubber, gloves, and other items totaling $450. This behavior appeared suspicious as it suggested a cleanup operation. The detectives obtained further security camera footage, this time from an apartment complex in Abington on January 3rd. This video depicted Brian Walsh walking towards a dumpster, carrying a trash bag. Brian's walk, and the effort he put into hefting the bag into the dumpster led detectives to conclude that its contents were heavy. However, when investigators arrived at the scene in Abington, they were disappointed to discover that the dumpster contents had already been taken to the dump site and shredded before being incinerated. This setback hindered their efforts to gather additional evidence, as the trash bag and its potentially incriminating contents had been destroyed upon searching the dumpster at Brian's mother's home in January. Detectives discovered several items that raised suspicion. Among these were trash bags stained with blood towels, rags, a Tyvek protective suit, goggles, slippers, and Anna Walsh's COVID-19 vaccination card, a hacksaw cutting, blades, a purse, and boots matching the ones Anna was last seen wearing were found. Furthermore, a portion of a necklace that Anna had worn on New Year's Eve was discovered at the scene. After the items were processed at the crime lab, Anna and Brian's DNA was found on the slippers and the suit. This development further solidified the connection between the two items and strengthened the case against Brian. On the night of January 3rd, Brian returned home and conducted a series of disturbing Google searches. These searches included queries on topics such as what happens to hair on a dead body, what is the rate of decomposition of a body, what is the rate of decomposition on a body found in a plastic bag compared to a body found in a surface in the woods, and can baking soda make a body smell good? These searches raised even more red flags and led the detectives to believe that Brian was contemplating disposing of Anna's body. The detectives also thoroughly searched a trash transfer facility where they discovered bloodstains on January 18th, just over 2 weeks since Anna Walsh had gone missing. Brian Walsh was arrested once again, this time charged with murder and disintegrating a body without authority. According to the prosecutors, Brian Walsh murdered his wife Anna by beating her to death. Following the murder, prosecutors said that Brian dismembered Anna's remains and disposed of them in an illicit manner, and his mysterious disappearance in the United States sparked widespread media attention and garnered significant attention in the country. The Serbian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through the Serbian Consulate General in New York, actively engaged with the Norfolk District Attorney's Office to obtain information to give Anna's mother, who was residing in Serbia. In 2024, Brian Walsh was sentenced to a 37-month prison term for an art fraud case during the summer of the same year. The prosecution informed the media that they were still waiting for the DNA test results on all the evidence collected. However, they expressed confidence that the answers were forthcoming and anticipated receiving the results. Soon, Brian's case has undergone a significant change as his defense attorney has decided to step down from representing him in court. His defense attorney, who had been working on his case, ultimately decided he could no longer effectively fulfill his duties. As a result, Brian's case was transferred to the public defender, Larry Tipton, an experienced attorney who specializes in representing clients facing criminal charges. When a case is transferred from one attorney to another, the new attorney must review all relevant information and evidence gathered throughout the legal process. This discovery process allows the new attorney to familiarize themselves with the case, identify potential weaknesses, and develop an effective defense strategy. In Brian's case, the discovery review process has proven particularly challenging. With over 1.0 pages of discovery to review, Larry Tipton was faced with a significant task in January 2023. A psychotherapist named Dr. Robbie Ludwig spoke to News Nation and offered a speculative opinion on the situation involving Anna Walsh and her marriage. According to Dr. Ludwig, she believed that Anna may have been in an abusive relationship in danger. Dr. Ludwig's statements were based on her own experiences, and opinions, as she neither knew or treated either Anna nor her husband Brian Walsh. While on News Nation, Dr. Ludwig suggested that there may have been underlying dynamics in the relationship between Anna and Brian Walsh. She speculated that Brian may have been intimidated by his wife's financial success and not financially bringing home money. This insecurity, according to Dr. Ludwig, could have exacerbated any mental health issues Brian already faced, such as depression, anxiety, and rage. Dr. Ludwig's theory revolved around the idea that Brian may have felt at risk of losing everything he had, including his wife and their 3 sons, a luxurious home and pride. During that same segment on News Nation, a picture of Anna was broadcast, and she posted it on Instagram before her disappearance. The image was a selfie that showed Anna with a wound about her eye, and the caption read, "Mild concussion, bruised lip, and a cut tear. Vulnerability." However, there is no evidence to suggest that Brian had anything to do with the wound on Anna. Anna Walsh's friends and family are deeply concerned about laying her to rest properly, as they believe she deserves a proper funeral. Unfortunately, they lack the necessary resources and the prime suspect in her disappearance. Her husband Brian is not speaking as a result. They are unable to carry out the necessary arrangements until they solve the mystery surrounding her murder. Formal funeral arrangements for have not been made.